Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today we are doing part 2 of the Ray Chen series. How'd you like that, Ray? Ray actually sent us a bunch of jigs because he wanted to see how I would rig them. And this is the second one. Obviously, the first one was the King Slasher. And we're doing the Shimano bit because kind of important. This has been around for some time, okay, but it's been only introduced to the States this year. So this is the Osha Butterfly Sardine Waver, and this has been around for at least 5 years in the market, and yeah, it was recently introduced to the States. So for you guys that are looking for a way to rig this in the US, it's your video. Thanks to Ray. Okay, so as you can see, brand new in the package. Smells like down under. Alright, so this is a 200 gram asymmetrical jig, and I would put this as kind of like a number 2 on my scale. So a very good jig for, well, pretty much medium to medium high currents. Okay, so this is a slow jig, obviously, and it has, for this particular one, I believe the body is glow, or sorry, the stripes. Yeah, glow stripes over silver body. Obviously, there's a lot of other colors. So let's go ahead and rig that. But if you're new to the channel, this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And today, we are going to rig this jig from Shimano, the Ocean Waver. Not Weaver, Waver. Okay? Now I'm going to use my hooks. So that's that. GP rings. This is a size 4, so you could use 4.0 or 4 oblique as industry calls it. So you could use 4 oblique hooks from brands like Owner, which would be similar, Owner, VMC, and the VMC 7117 and 7269 would be the same size as this. Owner, and there are some from Gamakatsu. Alright, so here we go. Now, we'll mount this in the vise. A lot of people don't have rotary vise, so I am sticking with this, alright, so that everyone would be able to kind of follow along. Okay, there we go. So for the braid, we are using fly fishing braid or fly tying braid. So no, not fly tying braid. This is ultralight braid, 0.4, and this is, I believe, a Varivas. Okay, so we're gonna rig this exactly like Shimano rigs their jigs. Okay, so if you are not familiar with how Shimano rigs their jigs or rigs their assist hooks, this is the video for you. Okay, so I'm just laying down a thread base. Get my trash here. Trash can closer. Change my glasses. Wait, you know what? Let me change too. Alright, so there we go. Okay, now what Shimano does, and this is we'll do the tail first. So the tail strand, this is the length of the jig. Okay, so just so you'd see, okay, this is the length of the jig. Okay, so this is the back hook, and the back hook is generally longer than the front hook. And what we do is put, also this has no fluorocarbon insert. So what we do is make a knot just like that, and we push that to the very end as much as we can, okay, and then tighten. So I use like flat nose. I don't know what these are called, but they're flat. They're not they don't have space, so that's, you know, like that. Um, I'll actually link this in the description because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are wanting to find this. I don't know exactly what they're called. Okay, so I burn the tips just so it's clean. So we have that. Then what I do is actually really cinch them down just so it's compact. Okay, and we do the same thing at the other end. And when I cut this, I make sure that I actually leave a small tag, the smallest that I could use to have this grip, and then pull it like so. Okay, and then pull it again like that. That's super compressed. Now if you think that that's still kind of long, what you could do, just to make it a bit more compact, what you could do is actually cut it, okay, before you burn it. Okay, and we have these cutters here that do great work with braid. Okay, burn that, and then there we go. So you can see that's awfully clean. Now we can go ahead and bind this. So when you're binding this, make sure that the knot actually lays flat. Okay, and then what I do is actually pull on this part here, so it actually lays straight. Okay, now actually have to tie it on the underside right there. Okay. Okay, so just wrap. Some people go forward like this, some go backwards, up to you. Okay, what's important is that you wrap properly, you wrap tight, and there are no gaps. Okay, because when you're putting gaps, kind of doesn't look clean. Okay, so take all the gaps, and what happens there is that the grip is uniform, and that's the most important thing. Okay, so whether you're wrapping this style or wrapping uh, another style without the lock here, just make sure that you don't leave gaps, because the gaps bunch in on each other and help the grip. Again, this is very, very tight. If you could see my bobbin here, there's four what do you call this, there's four wraps on the leg to make it tight, and then when I tie, I hold it firmly each wrap, okay, and then pull down each time. That's why you see the color is not light. Okay, so color is transparent. That means it is on there tight. So as you can see here, okay, the color of the wraps are different. Okay, now I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so what I will do is I will zoom in so that you guys can see as much as it allows us actually. So as you can see here, this bit is not the same color as this. Hopefully that shows up there. Okay, now watch this. Okay, as soon as I pull it, it changes color because it becomes tight. Make it a habit to actually use a knife. It cuts closer. There we go. Just be very careful. Okay, so as you can see there, very nice and uniform. Obviously we will super glue that later, but that looks hella clean. Okay, now do the same for the other side. Now I really don't look forward to this part because of the other hook. It's easier to actually work on this without the other hook. Okay, now you take masking tape. Okay, we tape this up. This is just to make it easier to work with, of course. Tape this tip up, and then we will fold it like so. Okay, that way we can lay this flat. Space it correctly. That last wrap is actually very important right here because that is what sets the distance. Okay, adjust it to your liking. As you can see, the position of the hook is pointing away from me. You can see there. Okay, and it's out of the way. So each time you make a wrap, I mean, I've discussed this before. Okay, so for you guys that have seen me do this a lot, so yeah, repeating information. But for those that are new to the channel, at least they can see now. Taping that obviously would just make it easier for you, and you could go fast. Now each wrap, okay, pressure is going down. Okay, not on the way up. It's the going down bit. Okay, right there. Again, you can see that the wraps are even and tight, and they are touching wraps. Okay, so there we go. That's it. Now we can tighten. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, now, as you can see there, it's pretty clean. Now, we're zoomed out so that you can see how I tighten this thing. So we have a GP ring, which is this one. As you can see, that is shaped differently. Okay, see, it has that. That's where you put the nut. That way it doesn't move around. Okay, By the way, this is 150. The braid is 150 pound or 75 kg. Okay, so here we go. We start with them going out like that. Okay. Now, you want to do offsets, you could do offsets, but we will do standard. So basically, without binding this, because there's also another style where you bind this, what you do is go over, okay, then twist, go over again, and then make sure that the wraps go in over each other. Okay, then we turn one, then we do one each, pull, pull, you have it right there. Okay, now let's do the front. So this is the back. Should go like that. Okay, now the front, we need a piece of fluorocarbon. Okay, biggest mistake a lot of people do when they're doing this is not stretching out the cord. Okay, because when you're stretching out the cord, it actually helps it. This is a bit too long, so we are going to cut it, and then again form the knots. Okay, burn the ends as usual. You'll end up with a stiff piece of cord, and that helps it from getting snagged. Now again, we will do our wraps. Now if you're asking for the distance or the length of this is just, if you look, this is just under the point. Okay, right there. Just past it a little bit. Okay, now we're doing this a bit faster. Okay. So if you're doing a lot, what you need to do is actually tie all this one side a lot of them. Like say for a batch of 20, you do all of that, and then you tape them all as one batch, and then you do this last step all at the same time instead of doing them in sequence. So it's a lot faster that way. And then you glue by batch instead of gluing one by one. Okay. See again, just under. And when you're used to this, each wrap you make is actually very close to the next one, and then they're basically touching turns. And then you'll have the same tension. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is it's a bit fast, but that's why I put the tape on, because if I do this without the tape, I've gotten into so many accidents before. Not cool. Okay. We're almost there. Force a habit. Now, normally when I tie, I also have this in this hand. Okay. Alright, so there. So I do this because it's easier, just faster. Now, would be putting this on. I made this part right here. As you can see, it's very snug because most of the time when I'm actually tightening these things, what happens is that they tend to they tend to slip and go wherever they want. But with that, since it's already snug, it basically helps you out, um, not making it move. So we're just pulling, okay? And then pull one, pull the other, pull both again, and we're done. Okay, right there. Now, that's nice. Okay, So all that's left is really just to super glue them. If you want, like for me, I super glue them all at the same time, so I'm not gonna go through that. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you would have seen me do that, just so you know. All right, now because this is a slow jig, remember you are going to have a load bearing swivel. Very, very important. So that's what we have here. Load bearing swivels are stronger and they have thicker wire. Just FYI. Okay. Now we'll install two, one end on each end. Okay. Also, we will put a solid ring, and that goes on first. Okay, so we have a small solid ring here. This is where we put our line, and then on top of this, of course, is the hook set. Okay, so it will be like that. Okay, and then the hooks would be there. You always rig it on the flat side. So just down, then we do the top hook first, which are these. Here we go. Okay, now we do the rear hooks. Okie dokie. So this is how it looks like. I am going to take this so you guys can see. There we go. Okay, so we have that fully rigged right there. Okay, that's your OSHA Stinger. OSHA Stinger Sardine Waver. Sorry, these guys have really long names, you know. So it could be like it's the Butterfly Stinger Sardine Waver. Recently introduced to the US, a very good jig to use for a lot of the conditions that you face. Actually, the first jig that I would drop, a number 2. And then from there, I would decide to go thin or wider depending on the current situation. But that is it right there. Alrighty, so if you have questions, go ahead and click on that comment section. And if you learned something, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to learn more, click on the subscribe. Share this video to your friends if you want them to learn with you, and if you want to support the channel, click on that join button. Alrighty, that's it for now. Ray, thank you very much again, and for you guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.